Hello, everyone. Ripple's valuation just skyrocketed to $40 billion, and they pulled in a strategic $500 million from Fortress and Citadel Securities. Now, that alone would be big news. But then, boom, we get this explosive announcement bringing together Ripple, MasterCard, WeBank, and Gemini. And trust me, I've got loads more coming your way. Today's packed with entirely new developments and information you need to know about. So I'm jumping straight into everything to make sure you're totally up to date. Really glad you're here watching this. Ripple Swell 2025. We have closed a $500 billion strategic investment at $40 billion evaluation, led by Fortress Investment Group and Citadel Securities. $95 billion plus in total Ripple payments volume, $1 billion in RLUSD stablecoin market cap, 6 strategic acquisitions completed in just the last 2 years, 25% of shares repurchased, 3x growth in Ripple Prime business, 75 regulatory licenses globally. Ripple's quickly becoming the go-to company that everyone in the crypto world is paying attention to. They're racing toward the very top right now. They've been playing at this level for some time now. But look, from my perspective, the past 12 to 24 months, that's when things went from impressive to just mind-blowing. Honestly, the news is flooding in so fast I'm barely keeping my head above water. I'm curious how you're handling it on your end. My whole goal with this channel is making sure you can actually feel that adrenaline I get each morning when I'm sifting through everything to bring it to you. All right, let's jump to Brad Garlinghouse dropping some thoughts on this fresh announcement. 2025, without a doubt, has been an incredible year for Ripple, and a record year for crypto as a whole. Although we have a couple of months left, this announcement feels like a cherry on top of a mountain of good news. Today, we announced a $500 million investment in Ripple from Fortress Investment Group, Citadel Securities, Pantera Capital, and Galaxy HQ. Brevin Howard Marshall weighs at a $40 billion valuation. This investment isn't just a validation of Ripple's growth strategy and business built on the foundation of XRP, but it's also a clear bet on what the future of crypto will look like. I'm very proud of what we've built and all that is to come. Solid words from Brad there. Now we've got this exciting MasterCard collaboration announcement centered around Ripple's RLUSD dropping. Let's listen to this.
This foursome right here just did an announcement that we're going to be looking at opportunities to leverage stablecoins for settlement purposes. So leveraging RLUSD on the XRP blockchain that you've heard about in ways that will enable more efficient and effective workflows between banks and card networks.
All right, so check this out because this part right here is absolutely critical. He was super specific about one thing. RLUSD is going live on the XRP ledger. You catch what he left out? Zero talks about Ethereum. This is music to my ears, everybody. The XRP ledger getting all that transaction volume is exactly what we've been hoping for. This is the type of confirmation that gets me fired up. Now brace yourselves for this announcement. We are collaborating with MasterCard, WebBank, and Gemini to introduce RLUSD settlement on the XRP ledger for credit card payments, starting with Gemini XRP credit card. What we're looking at here is this partnership announced that Ripple brings together Ripple, MasterCard, WebBank, Gemini to introduce RLUSD stablecoin for fiat credit card payments on the XRP ledger, starting with the Gemini XRP credit card. The RLUSD stablecoin issued by Ripple and supported by Gemini will enable faster, compliant, and transparent settlement between key financial players, such as MasterCard, WebBank, and issues the Gemini credit card. Let me walk you through the heavy hitters involved in this deal. The goal is to create a new standard for institutional settlement by leveraging blockchain to deliver quicker, more efficient payment flows, enhancing transparency, regulatory compliance, and bridging traditional financial rails with digital assets. The pilot program, this initiative, begins with RLUSD settlement or MasterCard credit card transactions issued by WebBank, and with regulatory compliance and consumer protection at the center focus of this rollout impact for the industry. This sets a precedent for U.S. regulated banks settling mainstream card payments using a stablecoin on public blockchains, showcasing the potential for stablecoins and blockchains to modernize the financial system without disrupting the end-user experience. But guess what? That entire narrative just did a complete 180. Public blockchains are suddenly the hot ticket, and everyone's scrambling to lock down their strategic partnerships. And right there in the middle of it all, Ripple. They're absolutely crushing it with these collaborations. So check this out. Chad Steingraber drops this news about web bank partners, and we're talking big names here. Dell, PayPal, Shopify, Toast. I mean, these connections just keep stacking up, don't they? And it makes you think, could we be hearing some major announcements from PayPal down the line? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
And of course, while we're building a multi-chain product, XRP plays a big role, and the XRP ledger plays a big role. Yep. You maybe share a little bit more about how that is going to play into the ecosystem.
Yeah, so XRP ledger, of course, is our favorite blockchain.
Of course, yes.
Everything we do, we build on the XRP ledger. Naturally, it's a multi-chain world. Ripple embraces this. We support many of the chains, but for the things that we're building natively, we really do believe that the speed, the efficiency, the cost, and the compliance of the XRP ledger is the place to build it. So that's the foundation of everything that we do. The XRP ledger itself, then, of course, has pretty deep liquidity between the XRP token, between RLUSD, and between some of the other assets that have built on the XRP ledger itself. It's bringing that liquidity. We continue to invest in the XRP ledger in its utility. And as we're investing more and more in utility for financial services use case and for financial institutions, that's bringing more of the industry onto the XRP ledger. That brings more liquidity. And liquidity, of course, is a flywheel. So liquidity begets liquidity. People will come to the XRP ledger because of liquidity. They bring their liquidity with them, and that just continues to build on itself.
That's exactly when we unlock the actual utility we've been talking about. All right, so I've also got a few more things to announce. Ripple Prime was unveiled, marking Ripple's entry into institutional prime brokerage, enabling compliant spot and digital asset trading for major financial institution players. RLUSD expansion. Ripple is integrating RLUSD deeper into the ecosystem for treasury operations with on-demand liquidity, especially with G-Treasury, which is $10 trillion to about $13 trillion I've seen. Institutional partnership and acquisitions. Ripple announced major acquisitions, including Palisade, to enhance custody and wallet infrastructure for institutional clients. We did cover all of this a few days ago. The company's push into institutional-grade solutions to reinforce by securing over 75 global regulatory licenses. BlackRock, Nasdaq, Fortress Investment Group appeared on stage reinforcing mainstream adoption and providing clarity and institutional capital flows into blockchain assets. So you jumped on a call with Dina Friedman from Nasdaq and Monica Long. Honestly, that whole discussion was fire. I sat through it, and I've got some takeaways for you. Nasdaq CEO confirms 17 IPOs are ready for approval post-U.S. government shutdown. Ripple closed $500 million in funding. XRP ETF buzz was heightened, and continued speculation and attention. Expect these to start dropping in the next few weeks. Things are moving fast right now. Now, Monica Long mentioned something wild. 13 years of the XRP ledger, approaching 100 million closed ledgers. Let that sink in for a minute. The growth trajectory over these past years has been absolutely insane. But check this out. Crypto America grabbed this killer moment from the interview. Eleanor Tarrant's team sat down with Brad Garlinghouse just hours ago. This conversation was something else. I put together a full breakdown video hitting every major highlight. Seriously, don't skip it. You're about to see a side of the SEC lawsuit you probably haven't heard before. Brad's unfiltered perspective on XRP, and some genuinely powerful moments. Parts of this got unexpectedly deep and real. Let me show you one of the clips that really stood out. Listen to this.
Brad, there's been a debate recently on crypto Twitter. I'm sure you've seen some of it play out about XRP's use case now that Ripple does have RLUSD as its stablecoin, and you're branching out from cross-border payments into other areas. Yeah. You recently did say in a tweet, XRP sits at the center of everything Ripple does. Can you kind of explain what you meant by that?
Well, I think I don't understand this, but well, first of all, I think we can all agree there's a lot of misinformation and sometimes disinformation in crypto Twitter. Yeah. That's not great for anybody. I sometimes think people like to paint a picture that is somehow like Ripple's given up on XRP.
Right.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, one is
clear it up.
Well, for me, that tweet was trying to like, let's just be very clear. When we think about, and as I said earlier, when we think about G Treasury, okay, so Ripple wants to be as a treasury management infrastructure player, we now can introduce things like Ripple payments. Ripple payments, some of those go through stablecoins, some of them goes through XRP. And that depends upon corridor, that depends upon currency pair, that depends, we want to deliver the best possible product to a customer at the best price. And sometimes that may be a stablecoin, sometimes it may not. And frankly, something that's not widely known for your audience, there was a period of time where Ripple was minting in 2023, first part of 2023, Ripple was minting 20% of all USDC. That's because we were doing institutional payment flows and we used USDC. We also used USDT. We also used XRP. I don't look at the world and say, well, we are not XRP maximalists. There's going to be different chains for different solutions and different technologies. I think we have to start, and I mean this when I say we, I mean the whole crypto industry has to start with what problem and for what customer are we solving? Mm-hmm. If we just try to, it's like, hey, I have a technology and I just want to apply it to a customer. It's like, well, a customer doesn't think about it that way. A customer has a problem. How do we apply the right technologies? Yeah. XRP is very scalable, very fast, and very inexpensive on a per transaction basis. That makes it good for some things and probably less good for other things. That's okay. And Ripple will use other technologies in those situations. But if Ripple can go from managing tens of billions of dollars of payment transactions to hundreds of billions of dollars of payments transactions to trillions of dollars, and if XRP doesn't have 100% of that pie, but the pie is growing very quickly, like that's great. I'm happy. That's a really good place to be.
Mm-hmm. So do you kind of agree? Does that clear it up, Ellie?
Oh, it clears it up. Right. We'll see what the XRP. Do we call them? Do we call them Army anymore? I don't know. Community.
We tried to rebrand family.
Okay. We'll see what they say.
But you know what? I kind of
it's more peaceful times.
I kind of come around to like I love the XRP Army. We have. I mean, look, we were attacked, and I don't just mean by the SEC. Like there are those who are maximalists of their particular religion. I respect that as long as people are being kind of like constructive and honest and not spreading disinformation. I'm like, okay, fair enough. We can disagree. I try genuinely to support, and I think the whole industry benefits if we kind of get behind the whole industry. Instead of fighting about how big my piece of the pie is, let's think about how big the pie is.
To everyone riding this wave, the Army, the family, whatever label fits, just want to say I'm glad we're in this together. You're basically my extended crew spread out everywhere. Sharing these updates with you, figuring things out day after day, watching our collective brain get sharper, that's the good stuff right there. Can't overstate how much I appreciate it. Okay, big update just landed. Franklin Templeton just filed an Amendment 3, or its Franklin XRP Trust, Spot XRP, to have aiming to trade on the New York Stock Exchange. ACRA holds XRP directly. Custody is Coinbase. Trust uses CME XRP USD benchmark for pricing. 0.19% sponsor fee waived into the first $5 billion into 2026. Things are heating up fast, and look who's talking, Michael Arrington. Quick background, he launched TechCrunch, created Crunchbase, runs Arrington Capital, and bet on Ripple and XRP way back when most people had no clue what crypto even was. And check out what he actually said. I don't think very many people understand how big of a deal Ripple Prime is. It's not only going to be a huge business, it gives hedge funds like us unparalleled new tools to engage with markets getting on board. It has been one of our highest priorities at Arrington Capital for the last few months. So Arrington Capital just leveled up in a major way. They've got access to tools that basically supercharge everything they do with their money. Now here's the domino effect nobody's talking about. Every other hedge fund manager is probably watching this and sweating a little. Well, maybe sweating isn't the perfect word here, but you get the vibe. Look at it from their angle. Your competition just plugged into technology that makes them faster and sharper. They can execute trades and strategies you can only dream about. And what are you working with? The same tired infrastructure from 10 years ago. Kind of makes you wonder how long you can stay in the game, right? This is where the boardroom conversations get real. Financial giants, institutions, corporate heavyweights, everyone's scrambling to lock down partnerships with tech that actually delivers results. The winning technology. And guess what powers all of that? XRP does. All right, everybody, that's the tea for today. Things are heating up fast. Thanks a ton for watching this with me. Can't wait to see you next time.